Hey, what's up, guys? This is Steven's Mind. I need you to get in my mind for a minute, 3 minutes, 4 minutes to watch Ren Depression. This is the end of his chapter 3 that I watched yesterday. I am doing Ren's chapters. I have a feeling this is going to be sad, so I shut it off yesterday and prepared myself for today. We'll find out. Maybe I'll be alright. Maybe I'll be alright.
My thought patterns are composed by a time bomb for an author, like pigs to the slaughter. A symphony of self-doubt sings out, breath starts getting shorter. Running water is the state that I wish to become. Instead, concrete envelops my movement and I'm rendered deaf and dumb, unable to heed the advice of others. I'm rendered deaf and dumb, unable to heed the advice of others. Don't tell me things will get better, cause so far things haven't gotten better. I've got the sweater, poster child, bipolar, ADHD, therapist, wet dream.
Words are powerful. I catch myself speaking negative a lot, or I should say my wife catches me speaking negative a lot, and I'm working on that. I used to be so positive, I would bug people on Facebook. Man, you gotta quit being so positive on Facebook. Like, wow, you're really sad right now. But those who say they can and those who say they cannot are both usually right. You have to work your mind like a muscle. I said that last time. This is poetry. This is very poetic. And I love the beat, the music, the melody. Ren, he was really going through it when he made the song, that's for sure. I just hope that this was him being in his moment, and then he came out of it, finding the light in a dark room.
Got the sweater, poster child, bipolar, ADHD, therapist, wet dream. I don't want to talk about my father. I don't want to talk about my dead friend. I don't want to talk about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself.
Does he ever sing about his dad? Because I have no clue what he went through with his dad.
Dream. I don't want to talk about my father. I don't want to talk about my dead friend. I don't want to talk about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself. I'm sick of talking about myself and realizing that talking about myself never ever helps. Still, I call for help because I really want help. But the pills didn't seem to help and the therapist didn't seem to help. But still, I want help. I've danced with the devil in hell. I've sat in a prisonless cell.
Wow, I sat in a prisonless cell? That was poetic.
And the therapist didn't seem to help. Still, I want help. I've danced with the devil in hell. I've sat in a prisonless cell. And here I always dwell. Prison in myself. I do this thing where my mind travels back to the golden age. You know those times where you were carefree and everything was...
I do that all the freaking time. That's why I love 90s music so much. Like Third Eye Blind. Stuff like that. Because it takes me back to when my dad was alive, my parents weren't divorced. You know, we went out to eat every Friday, came home, grabbed my little skateboard with my Beavis and Butthead on the bottom of it, went to the park with my Stretch Armstrong. We were living in a trailer park. Crappy, crummy trailer park. It was actually not a bad trailer park, really. It was gated, there was security, we had a pool, there was a clubhouse. There was even a game room at one point, but it was also dangerous. It was not in a good spot near Detroit, but those were some of my best memories. My friend Carl was alive. I remember we had a red radio flyer wagon and we stuck it in a ditch, put some blankets in it, and just sat in that thing eating candy for hours, just talking, hanging out, having a good time. So stupid. And there was water in the ditch. It just was a little bit taller than the water, so we felt like we were in a boat.
And here I always dwell, in this prison in myself. I do this thing where my mind travels back to the golden age. You know those times where you were carefree and everything was golden? Golden age. You know those times where everything was golden, where you were carefree and everything was golden? The hardest thing I ever had to do was come to terms with the fact that that time never really existed.
Aw.
I've always felt so fucking detached. I'm broken, bruised and mismatched. Find it hard to relax, living under the cracks. Tried to fill in the gaps, lying here on my back. Still, I can't find it. Sense of peace in my mind declined it. Pulse increase and my sweat combines with a feeling.
I just had an epiphany. When he said those times never really existed, my mind instantly went to when I was in kindergarten. My dad was missing for a year. Then we found him with slits up his wrist to elbows on both arms in the hospital. He was missing for a week, not a year. Did I say a year? He was missing for a week. My teacher would pull me out of class every day and ask if they found my dad yet, and I didn't understand what was going on. Him kicking us out of the house to turn the gas on the stove. A lot of his drinking situations, I don't even want to get into some of that because it was so bad, but there was a lot going on with all of that. But I miss those days because I just think about all the good times, and maybe I've blocked a lot of that out. And I still to this day, my sisters will tell me stuff and I'm like, I don't remember that. And then it'll creep in like a light flash. Like, oh, okay. I think I do remember that now. I blocked it out. Did I really have golden days? Or was it just I'm trying to just remember the good moments out of a dark childhood? I'm talking a lot on this one. I'm sorry, guys.
Was come to terms with the fact that time never really existed. I've always felt so fucking detached. I'm broken, bruised and mismatched. Find it hard to relax, living under the cracks. Tried to fill in the gaps, lying here on my back. Still, I can't find it. Sense of peace in my mind declined it. Pulse increase and my sweat combines with a feeling so deep I fall inside it. Depression, I hate you, depression. Your constant oppression, respond with aggression. They say depression brings you lessons. Constant stressing conceals blessings. You will grow in broken settings. Fuck those lessons, fuck depression. I've been living in your shadow for so long that I forgot how I can shine. How I can find a refuge in my mind. How am I meant to sit here and unwind? The planets align, I feel like I'm cursed. Feel like
I'm sorry, but that beat is so good. That whatever that voice was in the background, whew.
Living in your shadow for so long that I forgot how I can shine. How I can find a refuge in my mind. How am I meant to sit here and unwind? The planets align, I feel like I'm cursed. Feel like I'm cursed to just be here to hurt. Feel like I'm cursed to just be here to bleed. But my demons been feeling this way since birth. Depression, I hate you. 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 Depression, I hate you.
Man. Oof. The Lord is close to those who are brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. When I was first learning how to walk again, it started out with a walker. I had to use a walker, wheelchair walker. Then I made myself a cane. Right here. I made this out of cherry wood. Stained it, all that stuff. Even put a little thing on the bottom of it. Wow. Like that. Anyways, on this cane, I put a Bible verse on the front of it to remind myself. It's Proverbs 22:29. That verse says, "Find a man who is diligent at what he does, and he will stand before kings and not mean men." When you work hard, you'll be recognized for that hard work, and you'll be rewarded for it. Now, for me to get out of my depression, because when I was going through this time in my life, I didn't want to live anymore. And it wasn't just about my injuries. It was about, I was working for Marvel. I was making like $2,500 a week after taxes. I was making bank. This is coming from a guy who was homeless, making $300 a week, working full-time in a chemical plant, getting black from head to toe. Then all of a sudden I was given this opportunity to work for Marvel, and my life just changed instantly. I remember after that first week, all the grips, because I was a rigging grip, so I built movie sets and hung green screens, all that stuff. They all stood around me, and they waited for me to open my paycheck. Everybody. And I opened it, and they looked at me like Like, because they knew my situation, and they all clapped for me, and I just smiled so wide. I'm like, oh my gosh. First thing I did was I went and bought some clothes. All of that was snatched from me after I shattered my hand. Because this job, I was lifting 100 pounds above my head, hanging motors 40 feet in the air in a wobbly basket. I mean, I was in shape. So I shattered my hand. My car broke on me. Transmission. I was living off my savings, going through multiple surgeries on my hand. I remember driving to the doctor's with my transmission going out. I was going like 15 miles per hour and my car is going, and I'm crying because my hand hurts and I can't steer the wheel. That was a horrible time in my life. And then I ended up moving back home. So I had no car, no job. I was out of money. My friend Zach, God bless him, came all the way from Michigan to Georgia, helped me pack my stuff up in his car, and we turned and burned, and he drove me all the way back home the same day. That's a friend. A few months into living with my mom again, I got a job working for the auto show, traveling the country. 3 days into that job, I fall off a Lime scooter and break my hip and have to have emergency surgery the next day. So I'm in the hospital with bandages and my hands messed up and swollen, and now my hip's broken, my legs swelled up. Doctor comes in the next morning apologizing to me. Says that he had messed my leg up really bad. He said he gave me permanent nerve damage. The healing process was going to take a lot longer, and there were going to be some complications. I went a year without walking. A whole year. I had to move in with my uncle because his house was more suitable for somebody who can't walk. And I would say for almost a year, I had to sit on my butt and scooch up and down steps. I got depressed. Really, really depressed. Because I was away from Georgia, which is where I needed to be for my acting stuff. I moved there with a dream and a goal and a vision. I got this great job, but I also felt like I was kind of window shopping my career. I was around these famous actors every day, all day, hanging out with them, talking with them. I wasn't one of them. And that part made me sad, but at least I was making really good money. I was setting myself up, and I lost everything. Lost my car, my job, my money, everything. I had to move home with my mom in my 30s, and that does something to your psyche. When you're a man, and you feel like you have to be back home with mommy and your uncle. I was down. And then I got sick. I got this really bad, I got C. diff, if you guys know what that is, and I ended up losing all kinds of weight. I was in the hospital again, but the Bible, Proverbs 22:29, find a man who is diligent at what he does, and he will stand before kings and not mean men. That pushed me to get out in my uncle's backyard and work out. Throw my cane down. Take 2 steps. Crawl back to my cane. Throw my cane down. Take 2 steps. Crawl back to my cane. Throw my cane down. Take 3 steps. And it just continued until finally I remember taking my first steps across my uncle's house. And I was so excited. I'm walking! I think I even have a clip of that. Depression is not a good place to be in. I've been there when I lost my dad. I've been there when I've lost relationships. I've been there when I've lost my ability to move, lost my jobs. I mean, I've had a lot of really good reasons to want to give up in my life. And for me personally, I owe it to God that I'm still here. I think His word has inspired me and motivated me. And I know it's easier said than done. Start in Proverbs. He said it himself. Ren said it himself. He was in a prison with no cell locks, no doors. Because you can get out of it. You're not locked in it. It's just really, really, really tough. Anyways, I've talked enough. This was a 3-minute song, and I am literally 21 minutes into a reaction. That's crazy. I don't even know how many people are gonna watch this whole thing. If you watch the whole thing, type in 2229 in the chat. 2229. Alright? Love God, love the fight, love your life. Don't give up on anything unless it's depression. See you guys in the next one.